Hello to you doses out there and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today is a very special episode because 5 years ago today, a very special film that becomes of great importance around this Christmas season was released to the public in cinemas. Now that film is Frozen. The ever annoying, ever brilliant animated Disney film with great songs like Let It Go, which became the greatest meme of our history, or to me at least. But today's episode is something a little different in relation to this film, and that is because I've got a theory going on, and that theory is Hans wasn't the real villain. Now I know what you're thinking, but Fran, he was trying to kill everyone, like the main leads, Anna and Elsa. He must be the villain. And honestly, I don't dispute that. He did horrible things. Yes, he was going to kill Anna and Elsa. He was going to let them both die and take over the kingdom. Sort of things that you would hear of what a villain would do. But were his actions his own? And to me, no, they weren't. They were in fact brought on by the real villains in Frozen. Anna and Elsa's parents. Now, this idea that I have of Anna and Elsa's parents being the real villains has a lot of fact in the reason as to why they are, because a lot of what they did led to all of the issues in this film. Elsa not being able to use her powers led to them building up and her believing that the gloves were the only thing that could stop her from using her powers. You know, that whole thing, conceal and don't feel. Well, Mum and Dad, you done messed that up. Because her not feeling anything that is going on in her life and forcing her to hold in and bring in all of her powers and never use them is the reason why everything that went wrong in this film happened. And it was all because of their parents. Now, you may be thinking, what does that have to do with Hans? Don't worry, I'm getting to that. Now, the actions of her parents and the fact that they forced her to conceal her powers, conceal herself from her sister and not engage in human contact or anything like that other than with them, I believe is actually what led to it. So we even hear Hans say,
"As heir, Elsa was preferable, of course, but no one was getting anywhere with her. But you,
Hans,
you were so desperate for love, you were willing to marry me just like that."
So he would have originally just married Elsa if he could have, not do what he was planning to, which was kill Elsa and marry Anna. And with that, this is kind of where the parents' intentions of being the real villains actually came in. Not only did they lead to Elsa concealing herself from the world and her sister and not building any proper relationships other than with her parents, it also then led to Anna's own immaturity. So Anna, as we see in this film, has this idea that of true love and things like that, and that's why she very easily falls for Hans, even though it's quite easy to see that he is manipulating the entire situation. Now, his thing with it, not his thing, with her, the main issue is that she is kept from the outside world and from her sister and pretty much anyone else other than the people that reside in the castle. And in doing so, they stunt her relationship dynamic growth. So as a child, you grow up engaging with people in the real world, which helps you develop personal and meaningful relationships, which then helps you to understand how these relationships work. Now, not only was Anna separated from her sister and general other people, this then led to her not being able to develop this relationship ability, which led to her being naive and easily manipulated, as we see with her relationship with Hans and how quickly he is able to manipulate that situation to get involved with her. Now, none of this would have happened if Anna and Elsa's parents hadn't been involved in this situation and led to this separation and closing them off from society. In doing so, they unintentionally, possibly intentionally, and I'll get to that later, led to the result of what happened in this film. Elsa being considered a witch, Anna falling for a guy who intends to either marry her and use her to get to the rightful throne, or killing her sister, and then later possibly leading to her own accident so he can have the power. That's never really explained. But all of the parents' actions lead to this because of that one mistake of having Elsa conceal her powers and separating her from her sister and keeping the two of them apart and separate from the outside world. Now, as I mentioned, this may be unintentional, but to me, I feel like this may have been intentional, at least towards Elsa. So the thing that I always found strange about this film, especially after the multiple times I ended up watching it, I went to go see it for my 18th birthday. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not ashamed of that. I got to sit in comfortable seats and got to enjoy a film after the fact that I couldn't really do anything exciting for my 18th birthday because I had spinal surgery not too long ago. You know, fun facts. So this was a big thing that I never really got about the films, and that is the moment one small accident happens with Elsa actually accidentally hitting Anna on the head with her powers, the parents immediately shut them off from each other, tell Elsa to hide her powers and never use them again. I always found that really quite strange because, as far as we are aware, this is the only ever time an incident like this has happened. Whereas previously before, from the images that we see, Elsa and Anna very happily lived and used Elsa's powers with no repercussions, no accidents that ever happened except for this one time. So my thought had always been, why was there such an overreaction from the parents? Unless they'd always been waiting for something like this to happen to give Elsa a reason to stop using her powers. Now, the reason why I believe this is because with this being based on a fairy tale and being set in most likely 17 or 1800 Norway, I think it's Norway. If I'm incorrect, let me know in the comments down below. But with it being set around this time period, witchcraft and things like that were definitely still kind of a taboo subject, still something people feared. And for a royal family to have a daughter born with these powers, it would be something that they would definitely be afraid of. And as far as we're aware, the people that they worked with as well, so the maids and so on and so forth, don't seem to know about Elsa's powers. Now, I could be incorrect with this, but that's what I took from the film, because everyone seemed to be shocked by it, as well as the staff, which surely they wouldn't have been shocked if they'd known about it the entire time. Now, why would they hide abilities like these, and why would there was no justification for hiding the fact that she had powers from Anna, or the fact that she had to hide her powers? To me, it definitely felt like their parents were specifically trying to find a reason for her to hide these powers and never use them again. Now, whether that be for a horrifying reason of not wanting to have someone with witchcraft in the family, or they were just concerned parents, which honestly I can't really believe, because for any parent who can happily tell their child to stop doing something that they'd always loved doing from the way it seemed to show of their snow adventures together with her and Anna, or just the general fun that they seemed to have with it, that was just kind of the main thing. I can't believe a good parent would do something like that. And to me, that's why I don't think they're good parents. And again, everything that they did led to the consequential actions that happened within the film, which ended up leading also to Hans coming off as a villainous character. Because if none of this had happened, if Elsa had never hidden her powers, if she'd never been locked away from society, and Anna had never been locked away from society, not only would their relationship dynamics not be so stunted because of the way in which they were growing up, to the point that Anna would have been able to tell that there was something fishy going on with Hans, and the fact that Hans probably would not have wanted to kill either of them because he would have been able to pursue Elsa with the intention of finding a way to get to the throne. So, still obviously bad intentions because he wants the power, but he wouldn't have had to kill anyone to get it. And that's something that I believe the parents are responsible for. They are really the reason why Hans comes across as the villainous character in Frozen. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my theory of how the fact that Hans wasn't really the villain and in fact the parents were the true villains of Frozen? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that is all from me for my theories, and I just want to give a big thanks to everyone for watching this video. Now guys, if you haven't already heard, I do have a Patreon going where you can get early access to any and all videos. The link to that is in the description box down below. You can also have the availability, if you pay for a little bit more, to be able to tell me what you want in future on this channel. As well as in the description box, there is the link to my Instagram where I post about my daily life and things that may be popping up or things that I'm interested in. And you can also give me submissions of what you would like to see. Here on YouTube though, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to watch any of my previous videos, a couple of suggestions will be popping up here, including my previous theory to Infinity War. That's all from me guys, and I will see you next time.